The minimap, a feature found in most games released in the last 20 years. It's such a good navigation tool that you even have one on your smartphone and in your car. Despite that, there are developers and critics who have a strong hatred for these things, like Peter Molyneux here, with his minimaps are quote. The reasoning isn't half bad either. After all, a good level shouldn't need a map. It should be able to guide the player through it with its level design, like in Dark Souls. Some games don't give a minimap precisely to disorientate the player, as in The Forest. Still, a few genres can't live without a minimap. Open world games, MMORPGs, and the subject of this video, real-time strategy games. RTS games is a genre that, according to game journalists and sensationalist YouTubers, is dead. I find this really funny because there's about one big RTS game getting released every year. The reason they say it's quote-unquote dead is that it used to be truly massive. StarCraft especially had a huge esports scene. And, well, it still does, but it is smaller. Anyway, the question shouldn't be why did the genre shrink, it's how did it get this big? Well, it all started in 1992 with the release of Dune 2. No, not that one. Not that one either. There. The gameplay loop is simple. You send spice harvesters to collect resources, which you use to buy all types of war machines. You scout the vast plains of nothing until you find the enemy base, and blow up all their toys before they can blow up yours. Lots of RTS games copied this gameplay loop nearly one for one, because it worked. Spice becomes minerals and infantry turns into marines. Dune 2 is the grandfather of a genre. Everything else would be refinements on top of it, including the minimap. The minimap is essential to RTS games, as the camera is very zoomed in to make micromanaging units easier. That's great for the immediate battle, but you're managing a whole war. RTS games are all about multitasking, so the player is supposed to periodically look at the little window to see all its workers die, and keep track of the bigger picture. It even gives you a nice little warning when the enemy attacks somewhere. The player can also use it to teleport the camera around the whole map, a vital feature when you're fighting on two fronts and constantly need to hop between them. Needless to say, every RTS game has one.
Peter, the horse is here.
Well, for every rule there has to be an exception. Homeworld is unique for a lot of reasons. It was one of the first 3D RTS games ever, and it didn't just have 3D graphics, but you also fought in 3 dimensions. And there are still painfully few games that let you do that. It was a risky game to make, with many untested ideas and little time to playtest them. The developers ran out of money twice, and notable for this video, it has no minimap. They did try to add a 3D globe minimap to be fair, but there's a lot going on at any point during Homeworld. You've got miners harvesting space rocks, those miners getting bombed by bombers, with swarms of fighters chasing said bombers. Mind you, all of that could be happening physically below a major fleet battle, but also above the mothership. Anyway, it lit up the globe like a Christmas ball, which was unreadable. They were forced to come up with their own mechanic, Sensors Manager. At any point, the player can press on the spacebar to bring a zoomed-out view of the battlefield in Sensors Manager. All the ships, from the mightiest of carriers to the puny probes, get reduced to little symbols, giving a big picture that you can't get from real space. The sound of battle gets muffled, the music goes quiet, and all you're left with is the repetitive ping of a radar.
Moving into formation. Resources locked in. Roger. Group 3 copies. Understood. Ready.
It kind of reminds me of the Dreda system in Battlestar Galactica. Battlestar was also an inspiration for Homeworld, but the 1978 version.
Attention. Is evidence the Imperious leader?
To be entirely fair, Sensors Manager is just a big map instead of a mini one. It's a lot better for players new to the genre. Well, at least in my opinion so. But I have been playing RTS games since I was 12, and I did look at the minimap. Sometimes. It's usually off in the corner, next to the set dressing. It's an ignorable position. I don't feel alone in this either. Google the word StarCraft minimap and the first result that comes up are videos and forum posts on how to keep your eye on the minimap. It's just easy to ignore, which is a bit of a problem when it's a pretty vital feature. Sensors Manager is harder to ignore, despite of it not being visible when inactive. Looking at the Sensors Manager isn't a swift glance to the side of your screen. You have to actively choose to open it with the spacebar, an easily accessible button. It teaches the player that the map is something you have to actively stare at and isn't a decorative lampshade. Also, it takes up the whole screen, so it just has more space to display information on. Units aren't just red or green dots, you can tell what class of ship it is by their icon. You might disagree, which is fair. Homeworld isn't for everyone. But what if games just added both of them? A minimap and a big map. You can't argue against accessibility, or letting players choose which of the two they prefer. So should every RTS include a Sensors Manager mode? Well, it depends. Some games already have the ability to zoom out to that level where everything is reduced to little icons, like in Planetary Annihilation or 0K. They could even add a spacebar button that zooms out to the maximum level and back. But what if you're above copying a 25-year-old game? Well, you can take inspiration from other games as well. What about an overlay map from boomer shooters? Or maybe copy the blood splatter effect when you get shot in a first-person shooter. You can do this by pointing an arrow on the screen towards where the enemy is attacking. Hell, have the camera teleport to the attack by clicking on said arrow. All you're really trying to achieve is grabbing the player's attention to look at the minimap, so even adding some tiny flashing lights on it might work. As I said before, the RTS genre isn't what it used to be. It has shrank, but despite the classics getting that formula devised by Dune 2 nearly perfect, I still think there's quite a few features that could be added to teach new players better and faster. Hell, maybe it could even help bring a resurgence to the genre. One can only dream. Hey, post-credits here. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you go off a little more informed than before. This video was a bit of a pain to make, but I'm glad I did it. It's been fun. Well, see you around then.